Hey guys, I'm Oven Mittens for Gandhi and welcome to Andromeda 6. Now, before I start playing this game, I'm just going to let you know this game is still being made, it's still in development. It's 5 chapters in and I think it's going to be 10 chapters long. I have played some of what I'm about to play, but I'm going to play up to chapter 5 and then as the additional chapters come out, I'll play them as they release. I can't speak. Yeah, I found this game randomly. It got recommended for me and it said it was sci-fi, and then I saw the artwork and I just loved it instantly. So we're gonna play this. I've gone blank. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, it is free at the moment. I'll put the link down in the description of where you can get it. And yeah, it's a visual novel, so if you don't like visual novels, this probably isn't a video for you. But I love visual novels, so let's get started. I don't know why I love visual novels so much. I think because I like story-heavy games, and yeah. Anyway, photosensitivity epilepsy warning. Okay, a name. Let's Cassie. I don't know. Cassie seems fine. She, her. We've got choose your species. Talari. A gentle and intelligent alien race dedicated to their medical studies and nurturing ways of life. Human. The most populous of all species, renowned for their scientific advances in engineering. Wow, I think I had a seizure. Kitelthan? I'm saying that probably wrong. A humanoid race gifted with the ability to live both on land or water. This unique species easily adapts to their chosen habitat. Fish person, and let's go the fish people. Episode 1, error 404. Let's go. My eyes crack open slowly, one and then the other. There's a heaviness that's settled behind them, and I squint as I adjust to the fluorescent lights hanging overhead. With a low groan, I manage to push myself up on my elbows, surveying my surroundings clumsily. A small room, metal walls, a desk, 2 doors positioned opposite me. A couple of empty crates sit stacked in one corner, and overall the room gives off the impression of being unused. No personal belongings, no decoration, it's all quite bare. I panic for a moment, my mind racing through all the possible reasons there could be to explain my being here, in this place I don't recognize, with no memories of how I got here. Am I in a cell? This doesn't look like a cell. I push myself into a sitting position, my body feeling like an entire building has fallen on it. The mattress beneath me, although soft enough to be comfortable, does nothing to soothe the ache that has settled in my muscles. My eyes flick over the small room once again, eyebrows dipping in confusion. There's something else, a whirring. I feel it almost as much as I hear it. Is the room moving? My breath sticks in my throat, panic and confusion rise in me like a wave. Where the hell am I? And why can't I remember anything? The door opposite me hisses and shifts, sliding back into the wall as it opens, and something in me turns defensive, pulls my knees up to my chest. Oh. I'm not gonna even try to do voices because I suck at them. So I'm just gonna read this in my normal voice. I suck at voices so badly. Oh, I didn't know you were awake. The man has entered is so tall his head almost touches the top of the door frame. Apologies, I should have knocked. He offers me a tight smile and the metal chair beneath the desk scrapes across the floor as he pulls it out, sitting and leaning forward with his arms rested on his knees. How are you feeling? He looks at me expectantly, and though I refuse to let my guard down so easily, an answer escapes me anyway. I feel like I just go, I'm fine thanks to this person I don't know. I'm not gonna vent to a stranger. That's not really the best idea, I guess. I look the man over, from his gentle half smile to his casual posture. My gaze falls nervously upon the pistol strapped to his body, but there's nothing in his demeanour that suggests he intends to use them. He certainly doesn't look like he's here to harm. I swear I can read. He certainly doesn't look like he's here to harm me. I think I'm fine, thanks. I'm glad to hear that. His eyes squint when he smiles at me, and I find myself thinking there's something I like about them. Something warm. Okay, so we have a good impression of this dude. He has a very friendly smile. Very friendly looking smile. I was worried about you after. His eyes flicker a little, almost as though he wouldn't take back. As though he would take back those words if he could. After what? The awkward silence that follows is noticeable, his hesitation hanging thick in the air. Something happened, something big, and somehow I can't remember what. Though even in the face of such uncertainty, one thing is abundantly clear. Whether I can trust the man in front of me or not, I need answers. Answers are always good? Who are you first? Who are you anyway? He hesitates only a moment before something unseen inside him shifts. I'm June. This ship we're on is the Andromeda Six, the finest cruiser around, and my home. At least for the time being, anyway. June pauses before saying any more, his brow furrowed in thought. What can I call you? I opened my mouth to tell him, but stopped short when no memory of my name surfaces. Who am I? It's Cassie. We chose it just 2 minutes ago. I have a name. I feel it there on the tip of my tongue. But every time I reach out, it escapes me. Oh, sure. June frowns and I can't keep the worry from bubbling up inside me. I should be able to remember something as simple as my own name. Closing my eyes, I try to coax the memory to the forefront of my mind. I can almost feel it on the tip of my tongue, and I know it's close, hidden behind the mist in my mind. Nothing. I can't remember. My throat tightens at the realization not knowing where I am is one thing, but not knowing my own name. All the names that cross my mind feel foreign, not one of them standing out as mine. Panic begins to crawl into my lungs, contracting my throat, leaving me gasping for breath. Hey, don't panic, look at me. June pulls his chair closer to the bed, his eyes locked on mine. He takes a deep breath in through his nose, releasing it slowly through his mouth. With a hand he gestures for me to do the same. After a few breaths in and out, my muscles seem to unknot a little, reason returning to me. Now close your eyes, relax, just keep breathing through it. I'm hesitant, but I follow his instructions. Rolling my shoulders a little, I close my eyes and let out a deep, shuddering breath. I know my name, it's here, somewhere. Don't try to force it, focus on clearing your mind, calming it, let it come to you. His voice washes over me like a balm, soothing and healing my fractured nerves. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Even ever so slowly, my mind empties, the darkness it leaves behind like an endless abyss, waiting to be filled. After a few more moments, something clicks into place, like the download button in my brain has regained power once again. Trying to hold all other thoughts at bay, I part my lips and speak the one word that hangs like a neon light in the back of my mind. Cassie. I don't know if that's how you spell. Yeah, that's how you spell Cassie. That's my name. Breath of fresh air rustled through my lungs, my frustration from earlier receding a little. I just don't know how dark it is. Oh, I try to push a little further, a last name or even my home. But the more I try, the more the black hole of my memory sucks me into nothingness. Nothing comes to mind, not even the slightest inkling. I decide not to push it anymore for now. My first name will have to do. Slowly, I open my eyes again, a smile tugging at my lips as my eyes fall upon June and that contagious, lopsided grin of his. Okay, so we don't know this June for a while, but he's made us feel very, very comfortable. I'm Cassie. June grins wider, and it's one of those smiles that reaches his eyes, wrinkles the skin beside them. See, look how awesome the art is! This is why I fell in love with this game as soon as I saw the artwork. It's great. Like I said, I've played the few chapters that are out already. I'll get up to date, and then as new chapters come out, I'll play them as release and do the videos. But I just wanted to make these videos because this game's awesome and I want more people to discover it because it's such a fun game. The artwork's beautiful. I love the story, so I hope more people just get into it and just discover this amazing game. Anyway, continuing on. It's a pleasure to meet you, Casey. Casey, did I just start pronouncing the name different? I don't know. Do you remember anything else? I searched my mind every darkened crevice and corner, but come up short. No. June lets out a sigh as if it burdens him to be the one to tell me whatever comes next. There was an attack on the palace in STOWAWAY. We found you unconscious nearby. A bridge had collapsed. Well, it had been destroyed, actually. Our medic healed what she could, but we never expected memory loss to be a factor. Perhaps you lived around the area? Does any of this sound familiar to you? I shake my head. I recall the city of STOWAWAY, capital of the planet Goldis, but did I live there? Do I have a life there or a family waiting for me? My mind seems bathed in darkness, coming up blank with each attempt to remember my past. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry, I remember the city, but nothing past that. June ducks his head, thinking for a moment. It could be some type of short-term memory loss. We'll have our medic look over you again. If you remember where you're from, we can help you get back there. There must be someone waiting for you. Oh, there isn't. The words leave my mouth before I can stop them, but somehow I know it's true. And even if it wasn't, what good would it be if I can't even remember them? June shifts in his chair, but I cut him before he has the chance to say more. All I know right now is my name. I have you to thank for that. It's a start, right? I chew on my bottom lip anxiously, feeling his eyes flicker over me. I know the thought of forgetting everything should be terrifying, but for some reason I feel... Well, you said it should be terrifying, but for some reason you feel... So calm seems the more counteractive one of that. Calm. That piece of it has happened to me. Well, I don't know. Maybe it's a sign, an opportunity for me to make a fresh start. I still want to remember something. Anything. But I could be on the run for all I know. Exiled even. Better to avoid that kind of trouble, don't you think? I feel like being exiled, you'd need to know, because if you go back to where you've been exiled, because you don't remember, you could, like, deal with a lot more trouble. An uneasiness settles in my stomach, and I think that perhaps I'm more shaken up than I've let on. The only consolation is that June seems even more concerned than I am. His eyes go wide at my words, and I can practically feel the concern dripping from him. I'm sorry, we should get you to the medic. She'll be able to help you far better than I can. She's Talari. Perhaps you remember their reputation? Indeed, Talari are exceptional healers, though I can't recall ever meeting any of this species before. June offers his hand to help me stand, and when I take it, his skin is surprisingly warm, a stark contrast to the cold metal walls of the room around us. I hope he's warmer than cold metal, man. If he's not, that means he's a zombie. Despite the roughness of his skin, the calluses on his fingers, his touch is gentle. For a moment, I think I'm okay to stand on my own, but when I let go of his hand, my legs buckle beneath me. Letting out a yelp, I'm hit with a sense of falling for only a second before strong arms wrap around my waist, holding me up. Casey, are you alright? Now, this is a visual novel, so of course there's romance. We're gonna have to choose a romance subtitle along the way. Don't know who yet. Nope, what did I press? I'm okay. If you want to get closer, you could have just asked. I feel like I am the more realistic one. I don't know why it's a flirt option. June is close, very close. A warm flush creeps up the back of my neck, and I find myself falling into deep grey eyes. Nice catch. Smooth. Nice catch. Wow, Casey, seriously? Nice catch. I've never heard that one before. Sorry, my hair's in my eyes. Ugh, it's so annoying. June laughs. The sound of it only makes my face flush a deeper shade of red. Sorry. Don't be. That blush looks good on you. That was very smooth, very smooth. If I had thought my cheeks were hot before, now they're straight up burning. I don't think I could string a proper sentence together even if I tried. Luckily, June flushes too, and I'm relieved knowing I'm not the only one. Helping me steady myself, his hands linger on my waist a second or two longer than they need to. But the way my stomach flitters in response makes me realise that maybe I don't mind that after all. Oh, that would be where the photoepilepsy warning was about, I'm guessing. I'm cut short when the lights above us blink a couple of times and the ship lurches, prompting June to steady me with a hand on my arm once again. What was that? Just technical issues. What kind of technical issues? Last thing I need is to be stranded on a broken starship with no memory. One crisis at a time, thank you very much. If only life were that simple. June smiles at me reassuringly. Nothing to worry about. Come on, I'll show you the infirmary on my way out. My fucking hair. I followed behind you down a couple of corridors. The ship isn't massive, but by any means, but it certainly seems bigger than I expected. When he stops in front of a set of blue, transparent double doors, he turns to me. This is where I leave you. I should probably get to the bridge before all hell breaks loose. The alarm is shown on my face because he shakes his head and chuckles softly. Nothing to worry about. Now head on in. Riona? We'll take care of it. Oh, I'm going to say these names wrong. Thank you, Jude. He stops and gives me a strange look, his eyes wide. But just as quickly he smiles gently and nods before disappearing down the corridor. When I enter the infirmary as cautious and quiet as a rabbit avoiding a trap, the first thing that hits me is the smell. I hate the smell of hospitals or like clinics. It's not nice. It's like a clean but kind of weird clean smell. I don't know how to describe it, but I hate the smell of hospitals. It smells clean, but not in that sterile medical way. More like dewy grass and fresh rain, like the open air and sky. It reminds me of a cool spring morning, though I can't recall having ever experienced one. It's almost homely. Oh, you're awake. The voice that startles me is surprisingly soft, and my head tilts to follow the sound. She's Talari by the looks of her luminescent skin, her primal yellow eyes. So, all Talari blue, or are they different colours? I don't know. I'm Riona. It's good to finally see you up and about. You've been looking after me? She smiles, and there's something so soft, so calming about it that it soothes right down to my bones. I'm reluctant to let my guard down so easily, but her soothing presence hardly inspires fear. Yes, I'm the medic here. And your name is? Casey. Pleasure to meet you, Casey. Please, take a seat, let's have a look at you. She gestures with long, thin fingers towards the medical chair that's positioned in the center of the room, and I follow her instructions, noting the plastic that crinkles beneath me as I sit. So how are you feeling? Physically, I think I'm okay, but... I hesitate, and she cocks her head to the side, watching me curiously and giving me time to get my thoughts in order. I haven't been able to remember much besides my name. I see. Rona grabs a long silver wand from a metal table and holds it in front of me. May I? I nod, and she lights the tip with a swish, shining the blue lights on the end into my eyes one after the other. I suspected you had a concussion when they brought you in here. You have hit your head rather hard. I cleaned it up and lasered the wound back together, but I'm afraid there's not a lot I can do for memory loss. Her fingers are cool against my scalp when she inspects the old wound site. Old wound next, giving an approving hum at whatever she finds there. Have you noticed any issues with your vision or coordination? The silver wand is pressed gently inside my ear before Riona pulls it back out and inspects the strange illuminated symbols on the side. When I first got out of bed, I lost my balance. Since then, apart from the memory thing, I've been feeling fine. Riona holds the wand in front of my face vertically, and a blue light washes over me, blinking for a few seconds before it dissipates entirely. When I follow her gaze to the screen behind me, the image has changed, depicting a series of numbers and icons I can't understand. Your scans are almost back to normal, aside from some bruising here and there, though that's to be expected. She stands back and inspects me, her nose crinkled slightly in thought. Physically, you're healing well. If you've already remembered your name, my best guess would be a mild case of retrograde amnesia. Amnesia? Yes, it's more common than you may think following a head injury, though I can't say that every patient heals in the same way. Can I change the settings, the speed, the text? I can. I need faster text speed, please. Just return. Following a head injury, though I can't say that every patient heals in the same way. That's it. But it will heal. I will remember, won't I? Riona gives a sad smile, and in that moment I know she's just as unsure as I am. Only time will tell. Perhaps if I ask you some questions that they might trigger a memory? Ugh. It's worth a shot. Let's see, where did you live? Do I remember nothing? Let's see, I don't know. I try once more to come up with some glimpse of my past, but it's to no avail. I don't know. Riona must see my frustration because she smiles at me in encouragement. It's alright, let's try another question. Let's see if you remember anything else. Do you have any siblings? Let's just go full memory loss. I shake my head slowly. Still, nothing comes to mind. I don't know. Riona frowns, and it's not the most encouraging sight. I see. Don't push yourself too hard. We can try again later. I nod and glance around the room, and once again I'm hit by that smell. I notice now that there's something else mixed into it. Something sweet, almost fruity. Can I ask what the smell is? Oh, the artwork's so pretty. Oh, it's my mister. Riona gestures to a small cylinder-shaped object in the corner of the room. Alexa! I can program to replicate scents. This one is of my home planet, Talarin. She giggles expectantly as if she didn't mean to say that. I guess I'm a little homesick. Is this your family or I've heard it's beautiful. Let's say it's beautiful. We're talking about the planet. I've heard Talarin is beautiful. I mean, I'm not sure how I know it, but I'm sure it is. Riona smiles fondly and I get the impression she's envisioning her home in her mind. You're right, it is. Crystal water, clear skies, green stretching as far as you can see, and dotted all over the planet are enormous spires, towers that disappear high into the clouds. Each spire can hold an entire city, hospitals, schools, homes. People think Goldus is the shining star of the system, but Talarin is the real jewel. It's more beautiful than this hunk of junk anyway, but don't let the captain know I said that. Why did you leave? She smiles sadly, and I can't help but feel a little of the emotion myself sinking into my skin like dew. I wanted to help the people that no one else would. That's kind of you. Was it worth it? And did you? It is kind of her. Was it worth it? Doesn't seem like an appropriate question. I'll ask if she did. For a time, yes. But even the best intentions aren't always welcome. Her face changes, that sadness I'd seen glimpses of every now and then coming to the surface once more. And sometimes things don't go as planned. I'm sorry to hear that. She smiles at me gratefully, and there's something beautiful about it. Something pure and utterly selfless. It strikes me that someone with this much kindness and devotion towards the world should never have to go through such hardship, and I can only hope that whatever she had to endure has only made her stronger. And the ship is still broken. The ship lurches violently, and Riona and I grab hold of the chair, fixtured securely to the floor to keep ourselves from flying across the room. What was that? Probably just a gas cloud. Our pilot is usually good at avoiding them, but sometimes the autopilot veers us too close. Well, we're done here. Best if you go back to your room and get some rest. Your body hasn't fully recovered. Do you think you can find your way back on your own? I'm sure I'll manage. Okay then, I'll bring you some food and fresh clothes in a little while and check in on how you're doing. I exit the infirmary, heading back in the direction Jude and I had come from. At least I think it was this way. Yeah, this is a new environment. How am I supposed to remember how to get back to my room? As I continue walking down the corridor, I realize all the doors look the same. Maybe I should have asked Riona to show me the way after all. The corridors are all metal walls and elaborate circuitry, fluorescent lights evenly spaced hanging from the ceiling, the occasional patch holding metal sheets together. I look around for some kind of sign but find nothing, stopping only when I come to the next door. It's larger than the rest of them. It must lead somewhere important. After debating my choices for about a minute too long, I suddenly realize there's nothing to lose if I end up walking into the wrong room anyway. Yep, this isn't where I'm meant to be. I should probably leave, though I can see the edges of a window behind a stack of crates against the wall, and it draws my curiosity. This must be the docks. The boarding area should be around here somewhere, which means the view from here must be breathtaking. Making my way past the crates, I'm now facing a large window. The vast, dark abyss of the universe lay bare in front of me. Man, I wish space travel was a thing. I love space so much, man. I'd love to be able to, travel in space. It'd be amazing. I count the stars as we pass, and I wonder if I'm truly from Goldus. Somewhere out there the answers wait for me. I'm sure of it. Somewhere in the system lays the key to my true self. My only fear is whether it's a good idea to chase the ghosts of my past, or leave them buried where they are and start anew. Well, look who's up and running. I clutch at my chest as I jump at the voice, turning to find the source. Relax, kid, I'm not gonna... Holy shit, is that Is that what all the racket is down here? I love his arm. Actually, his tattoos are awesome as well. He steps up to the door, peering through the small window with a look of mild irritation. When he steps back, he swears under his breath, "This is not good." The captain's gonna flip his lid when he hears there's a hole in the cargo hold. A hole in the what? Is it safe for us to be here? He paces a few steps, looking at the door nervously before turning to me. That door is airtight. I'm more worried about the Lotalis supply. When I don't say anything, his lips pull into a tight line. Small fruit only goes on Talaran? I shrug my shoulders and he lets out a defeated sigh. Doc gets cranky about a special fruit and you do not want to see her when she's cranky. Come on, let's head to the bridge so we can chat on the way. His whole look is cool. I love the character designs in this game. He turns briskly and I debate running in the opposite direction, hiding in my room. But I think before I think better of it and I'm forced to jog up with him. What is up with my reading level today? It's so bad. I'm reading so terribly today. I don't know what's wrong with me. Even though his posture seems tense, the curve of his lips suggests otherwise. I'm Bash, by the way. You got a name? Cassie. Pleasure. So Cassie, how the hell did you end up in the middle of the coup on Goldus? A coup? I don't remember. You don't remember how you got there. I don't remember anything. Well, except my name. June helped me with that. Good old June, huh? He thinks for a moment before speaking again. Well, that's brilliant. Think about it. It's not every day you get to make up a brand new identity. You want to pick a new name? If you do it quick, I won't tell anyone you swapped it. I like it. Bash is great. Now that there's anything wrong with the one you've got, but think of all the choices. I stare at him a little stunned, and after a moment or two his face drops in realization. Unless you're not happy about all this. Shit, I'm sorry. Sometimes it takes my head a few seconds to catch up with my mouth, you know? It's fine. I smile at him. There's something addictive about his energy. The way he seems to be almost bouncing on air with each step. It's fine. To be honest, I don't know how to feel about it yet. It's an odd feeling, not knowing. I should be feeling something, right? But I don't know. It's confusing. I get it. There's nothing like falling on your ass to make you feel like nothing in this damn world makes sense anymore. If it's any consolation, I've been there once or twice myself. He smiles sadly and I have a hard time imagining anything in the world bringing down the bundle of energy in front of me. My eyes drift to the way his tattoos flicker, glowing luminescent under the spaceship's lights, and then to the bionic arm at his sides, a network of metal plates and connectors intrinsically woven together. On closer inspection, I notice the hastily patched repair jobs and oil-stained bandages holding parts of it together, and I can't keep a smile from tilting my lips. There's something about Bash that fascinates me, something rough and unruly, and I find myself wishing I could learn more about him. Do the bionics make you nervous? I snap my gaze to his face, embarrassed at being caught staring. He laughs and I can't help but feel like he's laughing at me. You never seen bionics before? Your mouth is practically dragging on the floor. No, I've seen them before, I don't know, maybe I've never seen them up close. Oh, that's it, is it? You hoping for a closer look? Blush, so he wants to play or roll eyes. I personally would roll my eyes at him. Yeah, let's just roll eyes. That's what I would do in real life, just to roll my eyes at that comment. He waggles his eyebrows at me suggestively and I roll my eyes. In your dreams, maybe. Bash fakes a look of mock offense, holding both hands, bionic and human, over his heart. You wound me so, and here I was thinking we were starting to become friends. I give him a dry look and he grins that crooked grin of his, which only makes me break my facade and laugh with him. I can certainly think of worse friends I could have. I'm curious, do they give you any special abilities? Bash flexes his bionic arm in front of him, making a fist and relaxing it again. His face is strange all of a sudden, haunted by the ghost of memories past. This is stronger than any old human arm, faster too, crushes steel as easy as a tin can. But the real moneymaker is this. He gestures to his left eye, giving me the opportunity to study it closer. It's obvious, at first glance, that there's something different about it. The way it pulses a bright electric yellow makes his right eye, a dark forest green, seem almost dull in comparison. Infrared sight, x-ray vision, advanced targeting. I instinctively move to cover myself before he laughs hardly and I stop, dropping my arms to my side and feeling a little foolish. Relax, kid. You'll know when it's activated. It glows red. I laugh at myself, trying to recover from my awkward reaction. And the tattoos? Purely ornamental, but I like to think they add to my overall formidable appearance. Don't know if they had a formidability to him, but they look awesome. An ungraceful snort escapes me before I can stop it. I hesitate, deciding how to word the question that's poised on my lips without sounding I'm digging for gory details. How did you end up with them, I mean, if you don't mind me asking? Bash grimaces, and I'm immediately aware of how intrusive I'm being. Sorry, you don't have to answer that. I'll make you a deal. When something worth sharing pops into that head of yours, I'll tell you. I agree with a nod of my head and a tight smile on my own, falling step beside him once again. So what do you think of our humble abode? Ignoring the fact, of course, that there's a great fucking hole in the cargo hold. I can't help but smile at the way Bash seems to flip something as serious as a hole in the spaceship to something of mere inconvenience. I haven't seen much of it yet. No one's given you a tour? The outrage! You think they were a band of bloody savages if you didn't know any better. Have you met the captain yet? No. Bash gives a scoff of a laugh, then shakes his head in amusement. I can't say you're missing out. The man's got a vendetta on a scale I've never seen before. Just stay clear of his war path and you'll be okay, kid. But let's see, anyone else you'd like to know more about? How old am I? I must be younger than him, since he's calling me kid. Okay, let's go to the pilot. There was a mention of a pilot. Ah yes, now there's a pocket rocket if I ever did see one. Too bad she wasn't a fan of the water tank plans I drew up. Perhaps you'd be more obliging. What I wouldn't give to see a full-blown space mermaid in all their watery glory. His mind drifts elsewhere for a moment, and when I clear my throat he shrugs his shoulders and shakes his head. She'd rather live a lowly old human. Can't see the sense in that personally. Let's talk about Riona. Riona comes to mind. He gives me a look, one I can't quite decipher. Doc is, well, there's plenty I could say about her, but I'll save it for another time. His face changes at that, becomes softer somehow. He likes the doctor. Okay. June seems nice. The cowboy brought you on board. Has he shown you his guns yet? It won't be long till he's whipping them out, both sets of them. Just watch out for that pet of his. Sharp teeth and confined spaces are not a good mix, let me tell you that. Don't ask me how I know that. His pet? You'll know it when you see it, trust me. You've also met me, the most handsome and talented engineer this side of Gallius X. I would say that's all you need to know, but I'm sure there was someone else. Why do I feel like I'm forgetting someone? He holds a finger against his lips, and I can't tell if he's serious or if this is all just for dramatic effect. He snaps his fingers in front of him, grinning at me as we walk through a set of double doors. Ah, yes, the assassin. Says he's a spy, but between you and me I can see him sneaking up on me from a mile away. He leans in closer to whisper the last part, his eyes glinting with an unmistakable mischief. Always lurking in the shadows. Played with his knives, you know. This one time I swear I saw him. Saw me what? Ah! Damon, hey! I was just telling the newbie here all about a happy little crew. Delightful. Please, don't let me stop you. You know what? I think I hear the captain calling my name. What's that, Cap? Bash is already halfway across the bridge before I have the chance to say goodbye, leaving me standing on my own at the entrance. Well, not quite on my own, as Damon is still leaning nonchalantly against the wall next to me. I spare him a nervous glance, my skin prickling under his cold stare. The way he's looking me over makes me feel I'm not so much a guest on this ship, but his prey. I wonder, is he really an assassin? Trying to ignore his unnerving presence, I survey the front of the ship. The room is spacious, control panels spread across the front, 2 seats for the pilot and co-pilot surrounded by a domed window and a cluster of seats behind them. I duck my head a little to see through the glass up ahead the view of Celiota is even more breathtaking from here. There's so many names of planets and people's names I'm going to get wrong. I've no idea what the planet we're passing in the distance is, but somehow it makes me feel unnervingly small. A tiny insignificant speck alone in this vast galaxy. The drifting sound of arguing reaches my ears and a couple of people I haven't met yet, coupled with June and Bash, pace around the room towards us. One man, his presence ominous, stops them all, his voice booming through the space. Over the whir of engines and the grind of electronics, I can't quite make out what they're arguing about, and I feel a slinking presence beside me, dark and ominous and entirely dangerous. Everyone I've met so far has been welcoming in their own way, but this man, Damon, Bash called him, feels anything but. My eyes flick to the side, and I know even before I see that he's watching me. Introduce myself to the others or hang back. The others are fighting really loudly, so we're gonna hang back. On second thought, it might not be such a good idea to barge into the middle of a debate between people I don't know on a ship I don't belong on in the middle of nowhere. Exactly. Tension hangs in the air, so thick you could cut it with a blade. I see now that any interruption would be less than welcome. I turn to find something else to do in the meantime. Startled upon finding Damon closer than I had expected, staring me down through cold, calculated eyes. Good to know you're not as dumb as you look. He speaks with a tone that leaves me unsure of his intention, holding a thin blade between forefinger and thumb, sheathing it quickly upon catching my wondering eyes. And here I thought, after we found you smack dab in the middle of an attack on the royal palace, that you were a total write-off. Makes me wonder if I was wrong. I stare at him dumbly, utterly baffled by how anyone could exude so much charm yet be so completely disrespectful at the same time. That's some skill, just to be charming and rude. Tall, dark and handsome is an understatement for the man in front of me, but there's something else, something venomous lingering behind that wolfish smile. Something that seems almost cruel in comparison to the beauty of the rest of him. I love his, jacket. I want his jacket. Damon lets out a long, dramatic sigh, cocking his head left, then right, sizing me up. No, something about your slack jaw and half-witted stare tells me I most certainly wasn't. Challenge him, respond with sarcasm, say nothing. We're gonna be sarcastic as fuck. Sarcasm. I should be the bigger person, ignore him or simply walk away, but I'm not. At least I don't want to be. Oh, I'm sorry, did my telepathic mind powers ask for your opinion? Damon blinks, utterly taken aback by my response. Thank you so much, oh wisest of sages, for gifting me with your words. I roll my eyes back into my head. For a moment I feel I'll end up seeing my own brain. This insufferable man is clearly intent on pushing my every button, and although I'm trying to keep my cool, he's succeeding. Look, I wasn't the one who decided to haul your ass onto this ship. You'd still be back on Golders, stuck in the middle of a war for all I care. Ugh. He shrugged nonchalantly, leaning back against the wall as if he were having any old chat about the weather. What's your problem? Damon pushes himself off the wall, shoving an accusing finger in my face and looking very much like he wants to toss me off this very shit with his own bare hands. You came in here waltzing around, getting all up in our business, and you even have the nerve to talk back to me. I don't trust you. He looks like he's going to kill me. The challenge in his eyes would be enough to dismantle anyone, but I had tumbled far too deeply down the rabbit hole to give up now. You don't even know me. Exactly. I turn to leave, thoroughly done with this conversation, the way Damon's mood chops and changes as quickly as the view from the cockpit. Where are you going? A silky voice stops me in my tracks, and when I look at Damon, it's to find him studying me curiously, as if I were some specimen in a laboratory. Back to my room. But we've only just started having fun. You know what else I'm good at? Finding out what people want, what they really want. He pushes himself away from the wall, stepping towards me with an unnatural feline grace. So tell me, Cassie, what is it that you truly desire? His voice still holds what seems to be a perpetually snarky undertone, but when he asks me that, I don't know. Damon knows his cold eyes, the look in them clearly unsatisfied with my answer. Everyone wants something. It's usually dark, twisted, and secretive, but it's what makes us who we are. Of course my character doesn't know what they want. They can't remember anything. I have no idea what I want. Liar. Why would my character be lying? I can't remember anything. How would I remember what I want? What I want probably right now is to remember. I'll find out what it is sooner or later. His hooded eyes slide up and down my body, leaving a burning trail in their wake. Is he really hitting on me? Good luck, or I'd like to see you try. Why does it... I feel like I should just, when I make decisions, disregard if it says flirt or that afterwards, because I'd like to see you try is what I'd probably say, but not in a flirty way. I'd probably say in a more sarcastic way. Let's still go, I'd like to see you try. You can try, but I doubt you'll get far. I wouldn't be so sure if I were you. He shifts against the wall, cocking his head to the side curiously, the fluorescent lights of the ship casting shadows over his sharp features. Being near Damon feels like being stuck between both ends of a magnet. He pushes you away, but only to reel you back in again with the same fiery intensity. It's maddening, exhilarating, and maybe more than just a little terrifying. I'm still struggling against the ocean of bewilderment he's drowning me in, desperately fighting to keep my head above water, when his cool fingers grab my chin, tilting my face towards him. I'm always up for a challenge. I do hope you don't disappoint. I swallow thickly, knowing I'm being lured into his traps, yet unable to keep the roguish grin from tugging at my lips. I don't miss the way his tongue flicks over his bottom lip, or how his pupils blow wide when those cold eyes hover over my lips, slowly dragging over my features with practiced ease. He squeezes my chin just once before he drops his hand and relinquishes his hold. My skin burns from the contact, the ghost of his touch lingering a few moments longer, and I find myself quite unable to move, to breathe, to do anything other than stand here dumbly and pretend that my insides don't feel like they're slowly but surely caving inwards. Eventually I clear my throat awkwardly, willing my limbs to loosen, and Damien chuckles at my attempts to compose myself, his eyes gleaming with the prospect of a challenge. I'm still lost in the moment when footsteps approach, heavy set and clipped, and a gruff voice calls towards us. Sorry, my cat is just... I don't know what she's doing. Reznor. Damon rolls his eyes, his lips curl into a smirk as he winks at me, blue eyes glinting with amusement. He steps back slowly, 1 foot behind the other, and sliding his hands into his pockets, he turns, a shit-eating grin spread across his handsome face. Yes, dear. Look, I love Damon. He's like, maybe a psychopath, but he's also like, super funny. Is this really the time to be messing around? Damon gasped, holding a hand to his chest in mock offense. Messing around? Me? Why, Commander, I would never. You guys look so cozy over there, and you know I would never want to intrude. The Commander inhaled sharply, shutting his eyes and pinching the bridge of his nose in clear annoyance. He stops, fixing Damon with a dark stare, one that says, "Don't fuck with me," among other things. You know what? This isn't the time for your bullshit, Damon. I need you to go and do your thing, and tell Bash to get Opera on the line. We'll be paying a visit. Yes, sir. Damon gives a mock salute, pulling up a pair of black leather gloves and looking thoroughly unimpressed at being interrupted. He turns back before he leaves the bridge, spraying a single glance over his shoulder. Don't wait up for me. I'm unsure which one of us he's speaking to, and in the end I decided rather not know. With a thick swallow, I turned back to the other man, steeling myself against the wrath Damon so generously invoked in him. Damon was unnerving in his own kind of way, but this man is downright terrifying. Tall, rigid, with a scowl so intimidating it makes my blood run cold. Looks like the warm welcome ended with Bash. What are you doing here? Folding his arms over his broad chest, he stares me down, and I try my hardest not to shrink under his glacial glare. Excuse me? He lets out an aspirated huff of air, his sharp jaws tensing with his frustration. Look, I don't have time to babysit a stowaway. Do us all a favour and keep off the bridge, will you? What else am I supposed to do? Who do you think you are? Now let's get defensive. Just who exactly do you think you are? He fixes me with a heavy stare, and my stomach tightens under the frosty of it. Oh, he's not happy. Calderon Lynch, captain of this ship? Oh. Well, Captain, shouldn't you be more welcoming to your guests? Not unwelcome ones, no. I blink at him stupidly, attempting to contemplate how exactly one man can be so obnoxious. Damon almost seems like an angel in comparison. Almost. Play nice now, Captain. My eyes flick up over him involuntarily. There's a look of a soldier, strong jaw, stiff back, stick up his ass about a mile long. Look, I really don't have time for... Ayame, get the goddamn ship on course. We are not stopping by the Kildafen ruins. I don't give a shit what time of year it is. The woman barks something at him and I back away slowly, thinking it's probably best to keep out of his way after all. I've barely made it 3 steps before he turns, sapphire eyes landing on me in a cold stare, freezing me in place. You're from Goldus. The way he says it isn't a question, but it catches me off guard nonetheless. What? That's where he picked you up, right? Right. So tell me, do you really think this new guy in power, Zovak, is going to be any better than the greedy son of a bitch before him? A flash of anger passes over his features so quickly I would have missed it if I wasn't looking closely. My eyebrows knit together, confused. Maybe Rona was mistaken about my accident. I feel less like I've taken a blow to the head and more like I've been dropped in another galaxy entirely. I don't know. He sneers at me. His lips curled cruelly and immediately I know I've struck a nerve. You don't know? Isn't that what all you Goldians wanted? A fucking liberator? Back off, Captain. The woman Ayame warned me, her voice low but with enough venom proving it to be threatening. Calderon snorts, ignoring her. How do I know you're not one of his lackeys? Maybe this whole memory loss ploy was a way to get off on this ship. You think I want this to not know who I am? Who knows what you'd say to worm your way into my crew? He takes a step towards me and it's so intimidating that it takes everything I have not to move a muscle. You're unbelievable. And you're becoming a pain in my ass, so I'm going to ask you one last time. He points a finger at me and I resist the urge to shove it away. Are you working for Jez? Yes? Jez? Zovac? Are you always such a dick? Or who? I mean, there's only one clear choice to this question. Are you always such a dick? His jaw tenses, teeth ground tight. Watch who you're speaking to like that unless you want to join the goddamn supplies on the wrong side of this cruiser. My chest heaves with anger, but I hold my tongue. He is the captain after all, even if his manners leave much to be desired. Know this, until we reach our destination, all eyes will be on you. Are you always this paranoid? Paranoia is the least of my worries. Zovac is not a man to be trifled with. If you don't like him, then maybe he's not so bad. It takes only a second to know that this was the wrong thing to say. His lips curl back from his teeth, revealing a scowl so venomous my eyes widen. Not so bad? You think murder and deceit and radicalism is not so bad? His growl echoes straight through me and I inhale sharply, meeting him dead on. Zovac, the bastard who forced the Crown Council to name him king, but not before killing the entire royal family. Think about that, will you? King Fenris, the 3 queens and their 11 children murdered. His eyes are blazing, the fury made obvious by the growl in his voice and the flush of his skin. Now, how about you tell me again how he's not so bad? For fuck's sake, Calderon, have you really got to be a raging asshole 98% of the time? She grabs Calderon by the arm, hoisting him back a step while she glares up at him. She's not responsible for the mess we're in. He fixes her with an equally hard stare, the tension between them palpable as he grits out from between clenched teeth. Set the course now. She merely rolls her eyes at him, stopping back to the cockpit controls. So she's the pilot. The confusion must show on my face, because when he turns to me again, he lets out a defeated sigh, rubbing a hand over his face tiredly. You really don't remember anything? His voice is surprisingly gentle now, and I shake my head, unable to tear my gaze away from his. There's something about those eyes. Calderon got a wall around him a mile high, that much is obvious, but every now and then there's a flicker of something. If I didn't know better, I'd say it was sadness. He inhales sharply, the red flush of anger melting away as he waves a dismissive hand at me. Whatever, I've got shit to do. Head back to your room, I'll have someone check on you later. I let out an impatient sigh. Agree? How is agree a flirt? I don't get these flirt options. Like I said, I'm gonna ignore if it says flirt. Unless it's an obvious flirt one, and if I want to flirt, I'll flirt. Agree before I can walk away. Let's just agree with him. Like, I'm still really not after this confrontation, but there isn't any point in prolonging the argument. It's clear this man is as stubborn as a mule. Fine. He grins, and even though it's still intimidating as hell, there's something handsome about it. It catches me off guard, and for a moment I struggle to right myself. So you do have a lick of common sense after all. He has to laugh, and a shiver sneaks down my spine. That's more like it. Wait. What did you say your name was? I didn't, because he didn't ask me any really proper questions, but it's Cassie. He gives me a strange look, eyebrows quirked, and then he shakes his head as if deciding he doesn't care after all. Well, whoever you are, we'll be dropping you off in Terranium once we get there. I suggest you come up with a plan before then. The streets of Nos Vega are not kind to the unprepared. Until then, unless you can do something useful, which I highly doubt, stay out of the way. He turns to leave the room, but not before giving me another once-over, sizing me up. I stand there dumbly, watching the captain leave the bridge, his heavy-set footsteps disappearing beneath the hiss of the closing door. Sorry about him. It isn't personal if it helps. It's okay. You don't need to apologize. You don't need to apologize. Like, that's not on you. I glare towards the door, his words still rubbing me in all the wrong places. You're not the one who should be sorry. Ayami laughs, her tone low and disbelieving. You sound just like him. No, don't say that. My glare shifts from the door to her, thoroughly unimpressed. Being compared to him is certainly not something I appreciate. I'm sorry, but trust me, I know Calderon is complicated, amongst other things. My eyebrows crinkle, confusion betraying my calm exterior. There's nothing complicated about being civil or learning some manners in that case. Come on, I saw you talking to Damon before Calderon came around. He's not exactly Lord of Niceville either. Yeah, but at least he was honest. My eyes fix on her, the truth behind them blunt and unbroken. And he didn't call me useless. He She sighs, tugging on the thin braid hanging by her shoulder out of habit. Well, we're all a little cuckoo around here. Try not to let it get to you. Like I said, it's nothing personal. Besides, I could teach you a thing or two, like how to tell them both to take a hike, in a more colourful language, of course. She laughs and my lips curve at the sound. There's something calming about her, something that puts me at ease, and it's a relief to know this ship is not entirely filled with douchebags. I can't help but wonder exactly at the nature of her relationship with the captain. They seemed pretty close after all. The last thing I want is to pry, so perhaps an indirect approach would be best, or maybe I shouldn't ask her at all. Why would she disclose her personal life to a stranger? I can hear the links in that brain of yours struggling from here. If you want to ask me something, go ahead, I won't bite. Unless you want me to. That was... Jesus, we've just met, calm down. She adds the last part with a wink, catching me off guard with her boldness. Ask her, don't ask her. What am I asking her again? Is this about... It's not a big deal really, I just wondering if, are you and the captain look close? Are you two? I didn't get that vibe. Allowing my voice to draw out, it's almost funny to watch how her expression shifts from that careless confidence to one of utter disbelief. Wow, you want to know if we're a thing? With a laugh bordering hysterical, she runs a hand through her hair, drawing my attention to her face. I glance over the gear attached to the side of her head. It looks advanced, amazingly so, but what really catches my eye are the thin gills at the side of her neck moving ever so slightly with each breath she takes. Oh, the thing, when they said gear, I thought they meant like a gear. My brain today. I killed a fan. The feeling of familiarity warms something in me. It's a relief to know I'm not alone out here. We're definitely not a couple. Never. Ew, gross. She makes a gagging sound before she turns back at me with a crooked grin, completely unfazed. He's more like a lame older brother. We've looked out for each other for as long as I can remember. That makes more sense actually, and I feel a little foolish at having thought otherwise at all. Hang on, you asked me if I'm single before getting my name? And they say I'm the bold one. The grin on her face is so wide it makes her eyes almost as thin as her gills. I open my mouth to protest only to realise there's no argument. I did ask relationship status before a name. This is awkward. I'm a Yame, and the one who keeps this steel tub on course is yours truly. But please call me Aya. Ayami just sounds so Calderon, do you think? Aya? She talks so fast there's barely enough time for me to process the information, but I find I like it that way. Sorry, I didn't mean to be so rude. You don't need a name to get my attention or blush. I guess it'd be either probably apologise or blush from embarrassment of what we've done. What we do? I'd apologise. I'd probably panic and apologise. I'm so sorry. The only thing that comes to mind is how rude of me just asking about personal life without even introducing myself. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to be rude. It's nice to meet you anyhow. I'm Casey. With a chuckle, Aya waves her hand dismissively at me. I'm just kidding. Chillax. She winks at me again, the huge grin still spread over her face. Besides, I noticed I'm not your type. It was my turn to choke on a laugh. Chillax, really? Hey, that's a mighty fine word. Obviously. The way her face so quickly distorts into shock makes it impossible to keep a straight face. We stare at each other for a few moments and my lips twitch at the corners, mimicking her own until we can't hold on any longer and break out into combined laughter. Aya is nice. There's just something about her, something fun, and I can't help but to play into her particular brand of mischief. Here, between us, you really need to chill and relax. See? Chillax. It's a mighty word. I can't even imagine what it's like to wake up with no memories, but it'll come back. You just gotta trust yourself. I'm not sure what I can trust right now, but I know when she says that, I almost believe it'll truly be alright. If she believes it, then I think I can afford to have a little faith too. Until then, I can be your bodyguard, if you like. Calderon even ever gives you shit, let me know and I'll show you how to knock him on his ass. She wiggles her eyebrows and gives me a knowing look, one that has me rolling my eyes in amusement. Thinking about that, however, brings back the memories of the captain and his ultimatum. The smile on my face fades as I remember, and I can't quite explain why. I hardly know these people, but somehow the thought of being alone in the state I am, is somehow more terrifying. Hey, what killed your mood? Did you remember something shitty about your past? I wish. Shaking my head, I raise my eyes to meet hers, taking in the subtle concern. No, I'm just not sure how much longer I'll be around. Why's that? You got someplace to go? Well, not particularly, but the captain said you're dropping me off at Terranium when we arrive. His eyebrows are most disappear behind her hair. She stares at me, and a mixture of shock and anger clouding her features. What the? He said he's dropping you off in Terranium? Terranium. Yeah, it is your next stop, isn't it? It's my turn to look confused. I'm pretty sure that's what he said. I couldn't have mistaken the name like that. It is, but do you know anyone in Terranium? Got any place to go? Any plans? I keep shaking my head at her questions one after the other. My past is still a blur. These people are the only ones I remember knowing, and somehow I think I've gotten a little attached. With an exasperated huff, Aya froze her hands in the end, so it's pacing in front of me. Is he out of his frickin' mind? No, he must have completely lost it by now. Biting my lip, I hold her by the arm to stop her from burning a hole in the floor with the intensity of her pacing. It's okay. I can take care of myself. I'll just ask around, get a job or something to keep me going while I try to get my life in order. It's fine, really. The last thing I want is to cause trouble for one of the few people who's been so kind to me. They've already saved my life. It's not right to ask for more from them. Aya stops, pulling her bottom lip between her teeth before she turns to me. It's not fine. A job in Terranium? Fending for yourself in that place when you don't even know your last name? Shaking her head, she puts a hand on my shoulder, looking me dead in the eye, and I start to understand a little of how she manages to keep a pair like Damon and Calderon in check. Look, don't worry about that. I'm not going to let that dumbass leave you stranded in. The hissing sound of the pressure door opening next to us interrupts Aya. Casey, didn't I tell you to get some rest? Startled by the stern voice, I turned to find a very annoyed doctor, her hands on her hips and her foot tapping expectantly. What's all the fuss about, anyway? Sorry, we were talking and then I found out some dumbass is thinking of doing something even dumber. I lost my cool, Riona's expression melts once she notices my confusion, her eyes settling on Aya with almost maternal fondness. Then you go and deal with it, Aya, but please don't drag Casey along with you. She needs rest now. A shivers smile on her face, Aya squeezes my shoulder once more before walking to the door. Aye, on it. And then she adds quietly, for only me to hear, you better do what the doc says, you don't want to see her when she's mad. Her footsteps fade as she skips down the hall and Riona offers me an apologetic smile. Don't worry about her. I'm not even sure what she's talking about. True, I think she was upset about me being in Terranium, but I can't really tell why. I don't think any of us do most of the time. But enough chit-chat, you need to rest, come on. Her smile is soft, but the firmness in her voice makes it clear that I don't have a choice in the matter, so answering with a smile of my own, I follow her from the bridge. My body is still sore enough to be a bother, my legs having grown stiff from traipsing around the ship the past few hours. I didn't notice it so much as I was talking with everyone, but resting doesn't sound half bad. After hours alone in bed, tossing and turning, I finally admit that I'm not going to be able to get any sleep and settle instead for pacing in my small room. My mind is stuck in an endless loop, sprinting 1,000 miles an hour, and the harder I try to think about my past, the harder my head pounds against my skull. Nothing feels right. I hate to think that Riona would do if she saw me burning myself out like this, but I can't help it. Especially now that I need to come up with a plan for when we get to Terranium. I don't remember much of the Junker planet like everyone else, but I know it's not a good place to be alone. Gambling dens, arenas, bars, strip clubs. What exactly am I supposed to do in a place like that? It was easy to joke about starting a new life earlier, but now it sounded a lot more daunting. Heaving a sigh, I eventually give up pacing and drop down on the bed, crossing my arms behind my head and staring at the metal ceiling, counting the bolts and rivets above me. What? Sorry, my cat is... My cat is meowing at me. She wants to come up, but she's not. She's being weird. My head shoots up at the sound of a knock at the door, and I push myself off the bed and walk over to open it. Cat, can you stop? Shoot up to open it. It's... Okay. This is a visual novel, so it's romance. So, for the sake of the gameplay, I'll choose a romance, and we'll just continue with them the whole time. We won't change. So who should we choose? Calderon, Damon, Riona, Ayame, Bash, June. Calderon seems interesting. He's like a jerk, but I bet it's going to be the whole... Well, I feel like everyone on the ship has a past. Calderon's going to be a marshmallow. Damon's interesting. Riona and Ayame, both really sweet. So is Bash and June. Let's go Calderon. He's... let's go with him. Oh, it's you. Calderon cocks an eyebrow from where he stands in the corridor, and I get the impression he suddenly wishes he was anywhere but here. I suppose I deserve that. I raise my eyebrows in agreement but say nothing, all the annoyance from our early conversation flooding through me once more. Calderon rubs the back of his neck anxiously, and it's the first time I've seen him do something that doesn't exude obnoxious male energy. I'm sorry about earlier. Do you mind if I come in for a minute? I think for a moment before I stand back, giving him space to enter the room and letting the door slide shut behind him. He is so tall, so big, that the room seems comically small in comparison. I had forgotten we even had this room. Calderon glances around the room skeptically before his eyes land on me again. I told June to shove you in the nearest storage closet when he brought you aboard. Lucky for you, he never listens to me. Yeah, that's a jerk thing to say. I stare at him disapprovingly, choosing to ignore that statement and move on to the next. So, which one of them put you up to this? I don't bother to hide the skepticism in my voice. He was an absolute douchebag on the bridge earlier, and I think he's beginning to realize it. Are you assuming I didn't come here of my own free will? I give him a pointed stare, and his jaw flexes stubbornly before he breaks. Fine, it was Ayame, if you must know. I knew it. Alright, smartass, you want a medal? I laugh. It's amazing how, as obnoxious as Calderon is, he manages to make me forget all about the situation I'm in, if only for a few moments. I don't miss the tilt of his lips, the loosening of his shoulders, and when he turns to me again, I swear his eyes are softer. But I did want to see, how are you feeling? His question catches me off guard, and the floodgates of confusion open up on me once again. It's been mere hours since I woke up here on the Andromeda Six, but after everything that's already happened, it feels like a lifetime. Ironic when you consider my memory of that life only began this morning. I drop down on the edge of the small bed, arms folded over my chest. Despite everything, I can't help but to keep my guard up around Calderon. I know I fast past my use of the sentence, but really, I don't know. I know how I should feel, lost, alone, terrified. Cat. Sorry, my cat's being really annoying. But it doesn't feel so much like everything's gone, it's just hazy. Calderon looks at me in a way I've never seen before, as if he understands, but how could he? Lost somewhere in the back of my mind, waiting to be found, perhaps? Cat, can you just sit? Ugh. I have something that might help. He shuffles in the front pocket of his jacket, pulling out a small spherical object. Holding it towards me, he studies me expectantly. What is it? Don't you know? Shaking my head, I reach for the object, feeling the cool touch of metal on my fingertips. You had it on you when June brought you in here, though thought you might recognize it. That it might help you remember. I examine the object in my hand. It's small enough to hold in one palm. But there's something else, something special. I think there's something inside, but it beats me how to open the thing. Aya and Bash took a look at it, but nothing. All we know is that the metal, it's kilterfinite, hard enough to get a hold of even before the planet exploded. Now it's about as rare as a substance can get. And it's expensive. Whoever you are, not just anyone would own a trinket like that. This thing is worth enough to pay for this ship 10 times over. I'm only partly listening to Calderon now, mesmerized instead by the small box in my hand. There's a kind of power about it. Some low, thrumming energy running over my skin, desperate for release. Everything about it feels familiar, feels as if guided by some distant memory. I close my palm over the spear, squeezing once before releasing it. The first few notes of a tune trinkle from the sphere as it opens, and my eyes snap to Calderon's, his face just as dumbfounded as my own. It's a music box. The inside of the sphere is an intricate maze of metal, moving cogs, neon lights, and sizzling energy, and my eyes are mesmerized by the movement as it plays its slow, sad lullaby. The tinkling notes echo through the room, each as hauntingly familiar as the last. It's almost cruel how it caresses the edges of my memories, taunting me to remember faces and names that are no longer there. My heart tugs at the hopelessness of it all, and another sharp pain shoots through my head. With my teeth clenched tight against the pain, it's only now, when I feel the wetness on my cheeks, that I realize I'm crying. But why am I crying? The music box hasn't triggered any memories in me, only feelings, a sadness and longing so strong it makes my heart ache. The melody ends, and for a long time after, neither of us say a word. Until Calderon breaks the silence, his voice barely more than a whisper. Anything? I blink a couple of times, my eyes focusing on the man in front of me. He holds my gaze, and it's the first time I've seen any warmth in those sapphire eyes, though I doubt anything could warm the cold creeping through me now, poisoning my veins and settling in my heart. I swallow thickly, and it pains me to shake my head. Nothing, or will I ever remember? Nothing. Let's say nothing. Nothing. The words slip from my lips before I can stop it, so final in its execution. I don't want to look so fragile, especially in front of Calderon, but there's nothing I can do to help that now. Why can't I remember? I ask myself more than anything, closing the music box with a soft click. It pulses in my hand, its sad, sweet melody still echoing through me. Calderon lets out a sigh, fidgeting in place, and for once the words that leave his lips aren't sharp. I don't know. The mind is a complicated thing. It suppresses memories it doesn't want to remember, holds tight to ones it does. Even then, they grow hazy with time. Are you sure you want to remember? My eyes flick to his, the confusion hitting me like a brick wall. What? Have you thought that maybe whatever your mind is holding back from you is for your own good? I don't understand. Think about it. What if what happens in your past was so bad you simply don't want to remember? There must be something worth remembering. There has to be. I hope so. Well, yeah, like, if I lost my memory, I'd still want to, and it was bad, I'd still want to know, like, even if it's bad, it's what's made you who you are, like, your past and your experiences and all that make you who you are. I better get going. Rona would kill us both if she thought you were doing anything other than resting. My mouth drops at the intuition and he chuckles. Get some sleep. The sooner you can get rid of me, the better, right? I may have been a little hasty with the matter. Just get some rest. That's an order. Good night, Captain. Good night, Stowaway. We're not getting kicked off the ship anymore. With a heavy sigh, I lay down on my bed, holding the music box up above me. The metal glints in the fluorescent light, and I vaguely recall hearing of Kiltafanite before. It's a metal that was found on Kiltafar before it was destroyed, mined from deep below the watery surface in the ocean caves. I'm sure I'm saying all of these names wrong. Whatever. That explains its pearlescent shine. Why do you feel so familiar? I speak out loud, squinting as something catches my eye within the intricate detailing. There's an initial on it. NLP. What does it mean? Feeling the exhaustion weighing on me, I decided the questions can wait. Opening the music box once more, I set it beside me on the bed, watching the dance of the lights and gears as the tinkling melody lulls me to sleep. My eyes grow heavy, so heavy, and I'm pulled under by the weight of my exhaustion. Wavering on the brink of dreams and reality, I hear it. A sweet, strong voice. Familiar. So familiar. Be strong, Casey. Be safe. You're a fighter, a survivor. The day where I have to leave you will come, sooner than we both know. Promise me. Don't give up. Who are you? Why can't I remember you? Why does it feel like I miss you when I can't even... I'm sorry, I miss you too. And that is the end of episode 1. So, I'm going to leave it here. I'll do a different episode for each chapter, but yeah, it's really good. I hope people are enjoying it. And yeah, I love this game. Like, I can't wait for the next chapter 6 to come out. That'll probably be ages, because, well, yeah, they're making it, and it takes a lot to make a game, even a visual novel, but I hope people enjoy it. Like, I hope more people discover the game, because I really love it. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you for chapter 2. Bye.